Hello and welcome to Indie Miners. This week an unboxing and revealing of The Dark Side of the Moon. It's been 50 years. BJ's been like a kid at Christmas, opening up his new present, the Dolby mix of Dark Side of the Moon. BJ, give us a bit of an insight into this.
Thank you, Al. So it's been about 20 years since Pink Floyd has released an update to their surround sound version. So there's one official release that got released 20 years ago. There's also a quad mix that got released in 2011 that was rejected effectively in 1973. So this is the Dolby Atmos version, so it's been updated with that particular technology. Now this was released back in March as part of a $300 box set, which is pricing me out, Al, of things.
Is it?
Lots of money there. If you really wanted this back in March, that particular box set had lots of live versions, vinyls, other things. This here, and I'll show you the unboxing. It contains 3 versions of the Dark Side of the Moon. So obviously the Atmos mix, which we're talking about, also a 5.1 mix, as well as an updated stereo mix. So it's Blu-ray, so it's in the HD audio format. And it also contains booklets and stickers and other paraphernalia. Look, that's stuff that doesn't necessarily interest me all that much, but it does cost $40 Australian, so probably $30 I'd suggest. So let me know in the comments if you know for sure how much it costs over in the US. But I will say, Al, that this is definitely the best version of the Dark Side of the Moon that I have ever listened to. That doesn't necessarily mean that you should go out and buy this. Now, I know you're a massive fan of Animals. That's your favourite album. For me, I think that probably Animals, Wish You Were Here, and The Dark Side of the Moon are equal. I can't separate them as albums. So, wondering about your take.
Yeah, look, mate, for me this album is really interesting because, of course, it's a concept album and it allowed me to actually do a bit of kind of research into the recording of this album, and it was one of the first albums that had been played live to an audience in surround sound at the time. So they were very experimental, and I believe that they toured this album for quite a while before the album was even released, the crowd being mesmerised, of course. And this is the start of, I guess, what they called electric theatre. So I was always keen to see what it was going to sound like, not just in 5.1 but the eventual release of the Dolby Atmos version, which a lot of bands are doing. And in terms of whether it's worth bang for buck, we'll get to that in a moment. But I particularly liked some tracks and the transitions, of course, which really sound fantastic in Dolby Atmos. But the highlights for me were Us and Them and Time in Dolby Atmos, mate. I know you might have a few different, a bit more of a different take on this, but for me, yeah, look, jury's out whether it is worth the money. Of course, you know, not all of us are like you, mate, can afford the $300,000 edition, but look, I think it's a fantastic listen, and for those Pink Floyd fans out there, I think they will get their bang for buck, mates. What are your thoughts?
I think that the versions you probably hear on Spotify probably are still pretty good. So yeah. I think if you're just a casual listener, you're probably going to go to that. I think that, you know, in terms of surround sound, this album has been made for surround sound. As you said, that it was really done back in the day as part of their performances. But look, I think in terms of the updates, it does sound a lot brighter than the 5.1 release that got put out in 2003. So I went back to that after listening to that, and you just get the feeling that you will never sort of go back to that one necessarily again. So it's an update. The transitions are really where it comes to the fore. Yeah. So they just sound a lot more angular. You're hearing things that are on top of your head. There's just stuff that the new technology can do that the older technology couldn't quite do it. In terms of the better songs, like apart from the transitions, which is really where you hear a lot of the surround stuff. But I actually enjoyed Money, but Money for me has never been my favourite track off this album. I don't know about you. I've always found it's been a bit overrated as a song. It just I've always liked the other tracks, but I think what they did with this for surround wasn't too bad. I really kind of enjoyed it, but I also liked Us and Them. So Us and Them, I sort of had newfound respect for that particular song. I've always liked side A over side B. I'm pretty sure that most people would be the same. Let me know in the comments. I've probably got a different read on things, but a lot of the side B tracks, Us and Ends on side B, I felt that they came out a little bit more. But I don't know. I think that bands like Pink Floyd and also the Beatles, I think they have been squeezing the lemon for quite a number of years with these 10-year re-releases. I'm not sure whether there's too much more to get from doing these exercises. I'm not sure what people are expecting. People are wanting more and wanting it to sound better and better and better, but I'm not sure how much better these particular records are necessarily going to sound, even with some of the technology that's available.
And that brings us to the kind of crux of the conversation. Is it worth money? I mean, you're looking at $30-40 for this alone as a singular buy. It's kind of 2.5 months, 3 months of kind of Spotify premium. Can you justify this, mate, in a world of cost of living pressures across the globe? I don't know. I think it'll be for the high-end fans, of course, mate. It's not going to be for just your casual listener, mate. Have you got any other thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, you've got to have a Dolby Atmos set up to begin with, and not everyone has one. We do, but here at Indie Miners, it's what we can afford to do. But look, if you don't have one, it's sort of pointless. And I still go back to it. I think the Spotify 5 version is fine, and I think that the previous 5.1 version is also fine. But I think if you're really into it, I think definitely go out and get it. If you haven't got a version or haven't got a HD version or a surround sound version, I think go out and get this definitely. But I think it's just more, they're more like phones. So I think I sort of find that, the new iPhone comes out, you don't necessarily get that anymore. It's not as exciting as the previous version, but if you've had an iPhone for 10 years, you can definitely see the difference. And I think this is really where I see some of these versions. If it's a long time ago that you last bought one, definitely go buy. You might find a difference. If it was compared to maybe the most recent update, so I'm talking about more probably the stereo remasters. It's probably not quite that different as what you might have heard before.
No, well said, mate. If you are enjoying our videos, we've done a few Pink Floyd videos in the past. Feel free to go through our collection. Please like and subscribe. That pays for our Dolby Atmos setups. Most of the royalties go to BJ, as most of our fans know. But look, that was our quick review of the Dolby Atmos version of Dark Side of the Moon.
That wraps up another episode of Indie Miners. Please look to subscribe to the channel, follow us on Twitter, and let us know if there's an album you would like us to look at. So until next time, bye for now, and thank you for watching.